Hello everyone, so 2 weeks ago I posted a fun challenge where you guess the accuracy of both players, and if you haven't realized yet, it was a game played by me. The game started out in an Indian defense, and my opponent made the first error by letting me control the center. After c5 d5, black thought for a long time and played queen to e7, which was the correct plan, but I responded badly with bishop to e3. Knight e2 was much better even though it blocks my light-squared bishop, because it doesn't lose anything, while the problem of the bishop is easily solved by castling to the left. My move in the game allowed knight g4 to happen. I realized that I will be left with a backward pawn if I defended e3, so I decided to go all in by sacrificing the pawn for fast development and the open e-file, but this was my second mistake, while two great moves for my opponent. But after I played bishop to d3, black played the blunder g6. Instead, queen to h6 would have kept the kingside structure intact. At this moment I continued with my plan, but unbeknownst to me, starting an attack on the h-file with h4 and h5 was the best plan, a plan so strong that my move rook h to e1 was considered a blunder. After queen to h6 h3 my opponent had their third great move while I continued making inaccuracies, and it was here that we reached the turning point of the match. Black most likely thought that he was getting steamrolled here, but the reality cannot be further away from that. With b5, black would have easily cracked open my king's cover, and although the material is equal, my king is very weak while the enemy king is perfectly safe with the queen and rook defending. Instead, rook to d8 was played, which was a huge mistake. I doubled my rooks as usual, and here the best for black is to correct his mistake on the previous move with rook back to f8. But such moves take a lot of confidence to play, which my opponent most likely has exhausted given the time difference and the position on the board. After the blunder king to f8, I came up with the plan of h4 and knight g5 to target f7. Always a weak point in chess, but that was a blunder, except my opponent missed knight to e5. I planned to capture on e5, but black would still be a pawn up in the end. f6 doesn't actually prevent knight to g5 at all because of queen f2 and f7 check. I instead played rook 7 to e6 which didn't lose too much of my advantage. In fact, it set me up for the brilliant knight takes e5. Which I calculated when I played rook e6 in that after king takes rook, queen f2 check, bishop f5 would lose the queen to a knight fork. Yep. At this point my opponent has given up, so after king g7 queen f7 and f6, forking the king and the rook on d8, my opponent resigned. Although on the surface it looks like a perfect attack from me, analyzing these games can still uncover a great amount of detail. But because we are less likely to analyze our wins, the player that lost these types of game will learn the most, so I would like to encourage all of you to play aggressive chess, except gambits, as well as free pawns in the opening so that you will have much more experience in tactical matches. Thank you all for watching and be sure to like and subscribe, also join my Discord server. I will see you all in my next video. Goodbye.